Hi everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the SCU Show. I'm your host SCU, fresh off of a vacation / bachelor party. Congratulations again to my friends Ruben and Danny who will get married in T-minus about 5 weeks from now. Cannot wait to be one of the groomsmen there at the wedding. But I'm glad to be back here on the SCU Show. This is episode number 70. How cool is that? We're just about a month away from episode 75. Hoping to do something real special for that. Stay tuned to our Facebook page and my Twitter at RunningFanatic2 for updates on that. So good stuff coming up. Well, let's get started, everybody. We'll talk about what we usually always talk about when we start this show. We'll start with the USFL, and we'll talk over the next 2 weeks. We missed the last 2 weeks, week 4 and week 5. So let's get started. Let's start with Michigan Panthers, because the Panthers continue to have all these sort of different troubles. Week 4, Shea Patterson threw 4 picks in a game against the Philadelphia Stars. And their kicker, who could have won them the game, missed the chip shot field goal from the 3-yard line. That's pretty much been the story of the Panthers this year in the USFL. It's just very bad. Then the defense was also bad as well. They give a lot of big plays against both the Stars and, of course, the undefeated Birmingham Stallions. So the Michigan Panthers, the last 2 weeks, they're just continuing to be the same Michigan Panthers that we've seen over the season. So they're the same thing. Different weeks, pretty much. The Stars, they have been playing pretty good football over these last 2 weeks. They should have blown Michigan. They only won because Michigan's kicker missed a chip shot field goal, and they absolutely should have beat the Stallions this week. I mean, they lost to the Stallions. They were up by 10. They had a very strong first half against Birmingham. They were dominating that game, and then they kind of gave up in the second half. They just gave it up. They gave up all the fumbles. The scores, at the end of the game, they let the Stallions take a 13-point lead at the end of the game. It was a bad second half for the Stars. They should have won that game based on what they... Obviously, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But the Stars, they're playing excellent football the last 2 weeks. They should have won that game against the... It should have beat the Stallions. They should have handed the Stallions their first loss of the season, but they didn't. And now, they're doing okay. They could be a playoff team because... We'll talk about the bottom 2 teams coming up here soon. But Stars playing good. Only 1-1 in the last 2 weeks, though. Unfortunate. But New Jersey, baby. No bias here. Jersey represent, but in general, it's won 4 in a row. They're the hottest team in the league outside of Birmingham right now. They won 4 games in a row, and they should be 5-0. The Birmingham, that week 1 game, we keep talking about it. They should have beat Birmingham. They dominated the stat board all over. And they just didn't. They couldn't beat the Stallions in week 1, but they just beat the Breakers, who we'll also talk about in a little bit. This weekend, they just beat the Breakers 27-17. So that was a kind of a big win for the Generals. They won their 4 in a row, and they're on fire right now. Are they the top team in the league? We'll see. Let's see what happens moving forward. Stallions, because we all know the Stallions are still undefeated through 5 weeks. And the Maulers, Pittsburgh, they got their first win. We'll get to that in a moment. That's great. They got their first win. Their offense is still first or second worst in the USFL. It's still one of the worst in the league by far. And their defense, it's such a dominant defense, but that offense just kills everything. It really does. It just kills everything, and that's why the Maulers are 1-4. Not 0-5. They should probably be 0-5 at this point. But they're 1-4. They got their first win. We'll get to that in a little bit. Tampa Bay, another team. They have great, amazing defense. Tampa Bay's, that week 5 against Michigan, which I joked on Twitter. It's the championship preview right there. It's not going to be a championship preview, I know that. But their defense won them that game. They were up 27-20 with about 2 minutes left, and their defense forced a fumble. And that was it. They were able to run out the clock and beat the Panthers. Defense is doing great. Jordan Tombu, though, he's not doing so well. The offense is not doing so well. They're struggling, and their defense really is it's the reason that Tampa Bay is winning games here. It's definitely a defense. Absolutely. Now, their offense isn't like the Maulers or the Gamblers. It's better, but it's not as good as the Stallions. It's not as good as the Generals. I don't even know what's good about. I don't know if he knows as good as as the Breakers, but we'll talk about the Breakers offense coming up. Houston, oh boy, oh God Almighty, Houston Gamblers. Oh, the joke. I think week 1 I put them the number 1 team in the league. They're the worst team in the league. Yeah, they're the worst team in the league. They have lost 4 in a row, including they gave the Maulers their first win of the season. As time expired, the Maulers scored the game-winning touchdown over the Gamblers, and they went on to win 21-20 or 22-20, one of those two. Houston has lost 4 games in a row. And that is all on the offense. That is absolutely on the offense. That defense is still stellar. We saw it week 1. They had several turnovers on Jay Patterson and Paxton Lynch. They had a 95-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Last week against New Orleans, obviously Kyle Sloter had 4 turnovers himself. I mean, Houston's defense was on fire against New Orleans last week. They should have won that game too, but they lost that game. And then this week they blow it they had a 17-7 lead. They were up by 10 against the worst team in the league, and they blew it, and they lost. So now we can officially say Houston is the worst team in the USFL through the first 5 weeks of the season. Meanwhile, the Stallions, they are the best team in the league. Technically speaking, they are. They are 5-0. They've always found ways to win. It's great. It's crazy. Week 1 we talk about all the time. They were dominated statistically against the Generals. They still came up with the win. I forget there was another game where they were down and they were dominating their opponent. I think it was like week 3. I think they were down. They were winning bigger margin. I forget the final score of who it was, but anyway. And then this week, they were outplayed by Philadelphia, pretty much most of the game, especially all of the first half. Philadelphia outplayed the Stallions, and wouldn't you know it, Birmingham goes back. They win the game. They beat the Stallions by 13 points. They beat the Stars by 13 points. Resiliency. Really, Birmingham just always finds a way to win games. It's spectacular. It's so great to see. And obviously the fans of Birmingham love it as well. So, you can't really question the Stallions are the best team in the USFL, but the record and the resiliency. New Orleans. So what the hell's going on with this? What's going on with the Breakers here? They've lost 2 in a row. Murder Hunt lost for a row. Last week, we already talked about it, they had 4 turnovers against the Gamblers. They won with the touchdown with 10 seconds left. This week, they lost by 10 to the Generals. What is going on with the Breakers here? New Orleans that team was so dominant the first 3 weeks of the season. Now, nothing from the Breakers. They're not on a losing streak. They lost 1 game in a row. That's not bad. But 4 turnovers, week 4, and then you lose to 10, week 5. What is up with what's going on in New Orleans? What's going on in New Orleans? Need some answers here. Let's pick it up, because it's not a bad team at all. You're not the Maulers. You're not the Gamblers. You're one of those teams that are going to make the playoffs in the USFL this year. Let's get it together. So there you go. There's your week 4 and week 5 takeaways. The Stallions remain undefeated. There are no more winless teams, though, so we love that. We don't like winless teams. And by the way, I do want to apologize in advance. If you're my fan, it is hot. It is summer, or it's getting to be summer. And even up here in northern Massachusetts, in central Massachusetts, it's pretty damn hot. Especially when you don't have an AC that was supposed to be put in. But it's another story for another time. We won't get into that. Alright, what we will get into is the USFL week 5, week 4 and 5 power rankings. Number 8, we just talked about it. Houston, worst team in the league. Defense is spectacular, but the offense is so bad. And they just lost to the worst team in the league in Pittsburgh. And they've lost 4 in a row. So they are the last team, number 8 in the rankings. Number 7, it's still Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a stellar defense, just like Houston, just like Tampa. But that offense is awful garbage. And they won their first game on a touchdown time expired. Let's not, pop champagne here at Pittsburgh. You still got a lot of work to do. If you even want to smell the postseason, Pittsburgh, number 7. Number 6, it's Michigan. Michigan, we talked about at the beginning of the show. Michigan still has all their troubles at quarterback, on defense, even in the special teams. I saw some struggles. Not a championship team. That's for sure. I predicted at the beginning of the season Michigan would be a championship team. Not looking like it right now. Michigan, number 6. Number 5 is New Orleans, just because they're struggling the last 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on here. Again, Kyle Slaughter had 4 turnovers week 4 against the Gamblers, and then last week against the Generals, they lost by 10 points. I don't know what's going on in New Orleans. Hoping they can get it together, because this team, I think, is a playoff team in the USFL, but right now, they're number 5. Number 4 is Tampa Bay. Got to be one, if not the best defense in the league. The offense, it's like, here's the defense. Offense is like right here. The offense for Tampa is holding them back. If Jordan Ta'amu and that offense can get it together and make it happen, Tampa Bay would be much higher on this list. They'd have a much better record, be a much better team, and people might take them a little more seriously. But for now, they're in the middle of the pack, number 4. Number 3 is Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia, they have everything even. Their offense is about even as their defense. They're playing excellent football the last 2 weeks, playing great football. And they're just, they lost to the Stallions. Everybody's losing to the Stallions. And then they should have blown on Michigan. I don't know why they only won, because the kicker for Michigan missed the field goal. I don't get that. It doesn't make no sense to me. But Stars are playing well, and they're number 3 on the power rankings. Number 2 is New Jersey, 4 in a row. Hot team. They're playing great football. They should probably be 5-0, but they could not hold on to a lead week 1, and so they're 4-1. They're number 2 in the power rankings. We all already know who number 1 is. It's Birmingham. They're the only undefeated team left, the most resilient team in the league. We can talk about it over and over again. Number week 1, dominated statistically by the Generals, still won. And then there was that game I talked about. They were down, but they won by like bigger mark, double digits in week 3 or 4, week 2 or 3. And then this week, resiliency again, dominated in the first half by Philadelphia, and they still found a way to win by double digits. And therefore, Birmingham, and no surprise, is the top team in this week's USFL power rankings. There you go. That's that. All right, we're already at halfway point of the season, ladies and gentlemen. We're already halfway through the USFL season. We are at week 6, which, by the way, next week, SCU Show from Manchester, New Hampshire. Going to be awesome. I'll be in a hotel room, of course, but I'm going to a concert next week, and I want to bring you the show from a different location. So stay tuned. Look forward to that. Let's get to USFL week 6, shall we? First game of week 6, Tampa Bay and the Stars. Going to be a great game. Both teams playing extremely well. The Tampa's defense a little better than Philadelphia's, of course, but the offenses are just about the same. I don't know if I would put Philadelphia's offense just right above Tampa's offense, but either way, hopefully we get a good game here. But I'm going to take Tampa in this game because defense wins championships. The offense wins games, but defense, I think, wins championships. And Tampa Bay's defense, I would say, is better than Philadelphia's. So give me the Bandits over the Stars to kick off week 6. Stallions, they play the Panthers. Yeah, they're going to remain undefeated. Keep talking about it. The Panthers. Everything is wrong with the Panthers. Absolutely everything is wrong with the Michigan Panthers. I don't get what's going on here. This was a team I had winning the Northern Division. Yes, because Tampa's winning the South. And they can't even get out of their own freaking way. Now they play the only undefeated team in the league in Birmingham. No way they don't lose to the Stallions. Stallions go to 6-0. And probably clinch a playoff spot. Be the first team to do that. Breakers will post the Maulers, and then I know if you listened to my analysis before, you're probably thinking, this game is going to be bad, it's going to be horrible, it's going to suck, because both teams are struggling. Oh, the Maulers. Did I say the game? But I meant the Maulers. Anyway, Breakers will bounce back against the Maulers. Maulers are the worst team, second worst team now in the league. Defense is great, but their offense sucks. I think New Orleans bounces back. They're going to probably have more turnovers this week. Kyle Slaughter and that offense will turn the ball more against this strong Pittsburgh defense. But they will find a way, once again, to win another game. And then the Generals, winners of 4 in a row, will play the Gamblers, who've lost 4 in a row. That's a blowout win. No bias, just because I'm from New Jersey doesn't mean anything. I think the Generals handled the Gamblers in the last game of week 6 of the USFL season. And that is your USFL coverage for episode number 70 of the SCU Show. I'm your host, SCU. Again, apologize for the fan. It is hot. Have no AC. So you get what you get. Hopefully the sound is good enough where you can hear me. You don't really hear the fan, but if you do, just go with it, please. All right. Let's get to the NFL. Woo! I put out power. I'll put the rankings out. I'll put my standings out on the SCU Show Facebook page, because I'm not going through the rankings again, because I'll put it on my Twitter, Rank Fanatic 2 as well. But I did have two things that people, but my friend, I showed it to my friends, and nobody really reacted onto my Twitter. But I did show it to my friend, and they were going crazy about this. When the NFL schedule was released, I did this, I did rankings. I literally went through all 272 games. Who wins what game, who loses what game, and how the records go. There are two teams that I think it's far-fetched. I have the Rams going undefeated, 17-0. I have Detroit going winless, 0-17. Yes, I know it's very, very far-fetched, but please let me explain at least. Give me the chance to explain everything. And I'll do that by starting with the Rams. Let's start with the Rams. Week 1 at Buffalo, that is a win. My friends tell me the Bills are going to go into LA and win a season opener. I do not think so. That's not happening. Bills, that's a W. Host the Falcons, win, because Falcons can't get out of their own way. Don't know what they're doing. At Arizona, I think that's a win. Arizona will have no DeAndre Hopkins for that game. And who knows what to expect from Kyler Murray with no DeAndre Hopkins. At San Francisco, it's a win. We don't know who the quarterback is for San Francisco. San Francisco don't know who the quarterback is for San Francisco. Home against Dallas, win. Cowboys don't have no top receiver anymore. CeeDee Lamb, but is he going to be that true number one? I don't think so. Unfortunately, Cowboys fans, I just don't think so. Home against Carolina, it's a win. Carolina is going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year, because they're going with Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback as of right now. What a mess in Carolina. Bye week 7, early bye for the defending champions. Host the Niners, another win again. Don't know who the 49ers quarterback will be. So yeah, sweep for the Rams or the Niners. At Tampa, big game. Tampa wins. Rams win. They've already beaten the Bucs twice last year. They have Tom Brady's number. Home against Arizona, they sweep the Cardinals. At New Orleans, New Orleans doesn't have a quarterback, they have all this. You have 3 receivers. Chris Olave, Michael Thomas hasn't played, so let's get over that. And they signed Jarvis Landry, but I still think the Rams are going to win that game because James Winston is quarterback. At the Chiefs, Rams win that game. It's going to be a hell of a game. Rams are going to win that game. Host the Seahawks, that's a win. Host Las Vegas, win. At Green Bay, win. Host Denver, win. Game of the year, Belly Bowl. Chargers and the Rams. I'll take the Rams over them. Yes, Chargers are my number one team, my favorite team right now, but that's on paper. We all know the Rams will beat the Chargers any given day. And at Seattle, win. Now, they could lose to the Broncos on Christmas. It could happen. They could lose to the Bills opening night. But I'm so confident that the Bills are not going to win in LA opening night, because that crowd's going to be such a loud crowd at SoFi Stadium. How are the Bills going to be able to overcome that crowd? And that defense. I mean, come on. Let's be real here. So I could see a couple losses for the Rams, but I do think they go undefeated 17-0. Now let's go to the Lions. Detroit. Week 1, they host the Eagles. That's a loss, because Philadelphia's a better team, obviously. Host the Commanders. Loss, because Commanders will win the NFC East this year. At the Vikings. Vikings are going to win the NFC North and make a deep Super Bowl run. They're going to blow the Lions out. Host Seattle. That's a game the Lions could win, because Seattle is very questionable right now, but it's still a loss to me. At New England's a loss. Week 6 bye, very early bye for the Lions. Week 7 at Dallas, loss. Host Miami, loss. Host Green Bay, loss. At Chicago, loss. Now here's another game they could win at the G-Man. But for right now, I have as a loss. That could absolutely be a game the Lions do win. They go into MetLife and beat the Giants. I would not be surprised. Host Buffalo Thanksgiving, loss. Host the Jaguars, loss. Love the Jaguars. I love what the Jaguars have. Host the Vikings again, loss. At the Jets, another game the Lions could win. They can win both their games in New Jersey. Will it happen? I don't know. I'll give it a loss for the Lions right now. At the Panthers are going to be horrible, but the Lions are the Lions, loss. Host the Bears, loss, and at Green Bay is loss. So there you go. Lions could win at the Giants and at the Jets, and maybe beat Seattle at home. But that's a max. 3 wins for the Lions. Right now, I have them 0-17. There you go. All right, well, the schedule's out, right? I went through all the rankings, went through everything. And so here we go. I have my first playoff bracket for the 2022 NFL season. We'll start with the AFC. The Bengals will host the Ravens, the 2-7 matchup. Ravens will be the 7th seed. They'll finish second in the division at 11-7. I'll take Cincinnati in that one. Cincinnati always has Baltimore's number. Seems that way anyway. And Lamar Jackson has no receivers. So they're not being the Bengals. They might be Jamar Chase and all that big team you got there in Cincinnati. It's not happening. Colts and Broncos, the 4-5 seed. I took the Broncos over the Colts. Colts win their division, which the Broncos do not, and that's why the Broncos go on the road to Indy. But they're a much better team. They're going to be a much better team than the Colts, and they'll pull off the win in Wild Card Weekend. Here's my most interesting one. I had a tough time picking the winner for this one. The Bills and the Browns in the 3-6. I had to go Buffalo here. I mean, I love Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a great quarterback. You know, he's got so much talent around him. The defense is great. We don't know what to expect from Deshaun Watson after having a whole year off, a year and a half maybe even. At the time of recording this podcast, there is no suspension for Deshaun Watson, so we'll see. But I'll take Buffalo beat Cleveland in the wild card. So the division round, you got the top-seeded LA Chargers hosting the Broncos. Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers. I love the Chargers. I love everything the Chargers have. Can't go against them here. And then you got the Bills and the Bengals in Cincinnati. Got to go with Buffalo with the upset. Bills just the better team than the Bengals. It's very close, but I do think that the Bills are a better team than the Bengals as of right now. So your AFC Championship game would be the Bills hosting the Chargers, and I hate to say it, but the Bills are headed to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1994. Josh Allen finally gets over the hump after the last 2 years, AFC Championship game, AFC Division round. They go over the hump, they win in LA, they go to the Super Bowl for the first time in 28 years. To the NFC, let's do it. Tampa Bay and the Cardinals, another 2-7 matchup. Got to take the Bucs there. Cardinals choking the wild card for the second consecutive year. Vikings-Eagles, 3-6. Very interesting matchup. Very interesting. I'll take the Vikings. I don't know what to expect from Jalen Hurts. I don't know if we trust Jalen Hurts. I love the Vikings. I love Minnesota. I mean, I just love the Vikings so much. They're going to win the NFC North, I think. And they're just going to be such a great team. And Washington Green Bay is the 4-5 seed. Washington, great. They win the division, but Aaron Rodgers. Packers win in D.C. To the division round, we got the Bucs and the Vikings going to be a barn burner, slobber knocker. As I've heard before. I'll take it, Tampa Bay. Tom Brady has a complete team around him. I mean, both teams have complete teams around them. But the Vikings, they have Kirk Cousins. He's 59-59, and I think 59. He has a 500 record as a quarterback, despite his earnings as a quarterback. And then he's going against Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to defeat Kirk Cousins all day, any day, every day. Rams and the Packers in LA. I got to take the Rams. It's going to be loud. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the team around him that the Rams do. So I'll take the Rams over the Packers to advance. NFC Championship game would be the Bucs and the Rams. Well, we already talked about this. The Rams have already beat the Bucs twice last year. Including the division round, they have a 27-3 lead. It's the third time's the charm? Or fourth, it would be the fourth time the charm at this point. Nope. Rams headed to the Super Bowl for the second consecutive season. They'll play the Bills in Super Bowl 57. I mean, come on. I know. I hate it. I said on the first show back this year, Rams are not a dynasty. They weren't or not. But they're going to win Super Bowl 57 at this point. They are. They're going to win the Super Bowl. And if my predictions are correct, the Rams are going to be the first undefeated champion in 50 years. Does it happen? Probably not. Probably doesn't happen. No, I don't think so. I don't think the Rams go undefeated. I think that game of the year, the Chargers and Rams, I might just go to LA for that game. God, it's so good. But we'll see what happens. Alright, let's get to our NBA talk here. We have the conference finals are set. And we'll start with the Eastern Conference Finals. Heat and the Celtics. This is the matchup everybody wanted. I know everybody loves the Bucks. The defending champions. They got blown out in Game 7 in Boston. I'm no bias here. I know I live about an hour away from Boston, but there's no bias here. Give me the Celtics to beat the Heat. I just think they have a more complete team around them. We always hear about the Heat is Jimmy Butler this, Jimmy Butler that. And they have Tyler Herro, they have Duncan Robinson, they have a great team around them. The Celtics have the better team, obviously. Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Robert Williams, if you think he's back, if he does come back, he should come back for the series. C's are headed to the NBA Finals, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo! Give me the C's in 6 or even 7 games. The Heat are going to take them all the way for sure. Warriors host the Mavs. Now, I'm ready to come out here and talk about how the Suns, after that series against Pelicans, that's not an NBA championship team. Oh my God, what the hell? Well, we just saw it Sunday night. Game 7 in Phoenix. The Mavs win by 30 points. 30 plus points. I think it was like 35-point victory for the Mavs over the Suns. So now we got the Warriors and the Mavs. It's going to be a great contest, but come on. The Warriors are the Warriors, ladies and gentlemen. Steph, Clay, Draymond. That bench. It's incredible. Mavs, they have no chance. They have Luka. Who else they have? Nobody. I won't be surprised if the Warriors win in 5 games. I'll go 6. So officially I'm going the Warriors over the Mavs in 6 games. And we are NBA Finals for the 2021-22 NBA season. The Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. Game 1 right here in Massachusetts at the TD Garden. I might go buy tickets. Going to be spectacular. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's it. We're done. This has been episode number... let's start with this anyway. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This has been episode number 70 of